It is indeed an enormous pleasure for me to lead this panel because, in my view, it is a rather unique and special opportunity to address this topic from a very different point of view, a point of view that I think is not as widely presented or heard from. Not that it doesn't exist, but it just doesn't happen in a lot of these conferences that we can manage to have such a high-profile panel and in the points of views of such important organizations such as the ones that are represented here and will be on this panel today. So for me, it's just a really exceptional opportunity, but I imagine for you as well, because you get to hear it from people who are always out there in the top, and then we always talk about the message from the top and the tone from the top, but I hate to tell you, the top is here. So if you have any questions, you can hear it directly from the top and a few feet or meters away.
And what made medical device and medical technology companies so successful is the collaboration between healthcare providers, the HCPs, the physicians, the nurses, and the companies that develop the technology. So this is very important that we maintain a significant amount of transparency when we deal with them. This is an important part of us doing business. So being proactive and understanding the legislations and understanding how your company can become a vocal point for the industry and create the ethics as a paramount responsibility of the industry.
Business is treated and viewed by the general public with much more skepticism and much less trust. Overlay that healthcare, where healthcare is in the scrutiny of government agencies and the public increasingly around the world. And I think what we have is we're at a critical juncture of trust. And I think there has been so much in the way of non-transparent relationships in healthcare. And as those come to the surface, the public feels alienated or feels like they have been duped when they learn that their doctors have been getting paid to prescribe this drug or to put this product in them. And I worry that that's the huge macro trend that, regulation aside, we as an industry owe the public to address.
It's a global issue, and one of the things that I've seen our industry doing in Europe and in the US over the last, unfortunately, 20 years or 25 years that I've been in this industry, unfortunately because of my age, not because of the industry. I've seen that we were reacting to changes, and as an industry, we're kind of forced by regulators to improve or to change. I see us leading now, which is, I think, a great change. And in particular, I'd like to emphasize the importance of EucoMed and AdvaMed leading together the changes. And I'm sure we're going to talk about issues that are hot today, like transparency and so forth. And this is an area where our industry associations need to lead, not react, but be ahead of the game.
If you don't have a compliance program and you don't have a compliance team, where do you go? So you come to conferences like this and we share great experience with some great minds and leading experts. I've certainly learned a lot, but it's how we spread that then throughout the industry, which benefits us all. Whether it's a small organization trying to get an innovative product through a very tortuous route to market and navigate those relationships with healthcare professionals, or whether it's Steve's organization who's probably got slightly deeper pockets than most of the smaller companies.
If we just keep increasing compliance, I think that takes away from that general manager owning it. Because then he feels or she feels they've got a full group that's going to take care of my job. Yeah. So I think you have to have a very fair balance between ensuring that you don't lose that ownership at that rep level or at the general manager level, because we have a team of people at corporate that will keep me out of trouble. Mike turned to Amy and says, so how many calls are you getting on that, that red phone there? And Amy goes, I haven't had any. He goes, is it plugged in? I mean, so I think that the point is that, you just can't assume that if you don't get the calls, everything is compliant. I think you can't fall in love with just the metrics to get to green, because then you're probably missing something along the way. And that goes back to my point. We had that distributor, there's a paper trail somewhere. Somewhere along the line, you need to make sure you go back and touch the customer or the area that tends to be the problem.
The new generation are your ambassadors, and it's very easy to get them to do the job of how important it is for them, not for you. And we encourage, I mean, we do commercially because it's a good place to go as a small business, is to start with some reference points, etc. But you speak to the younger clinicians, and they're much more up with it. I'm sorry to be ageist, but it's a reality.
Where do you put the bar in terms of age? Young?